compared to year one?
You're a little bit more comfortable. Year one, I was kind of staring outside the window saying, where are we now? What does Minnesota actually look like? And now, you're seeing people for the second time, especially here in Rochester, and just get around a lot of amazing people. And you start building those relationships, which is really cool, not only just with the coaches, but people in the towns that you continue to visit in our elite state of Minnesota. So it's a lot of fun.
Tough year one, but you've been through tough year ones before. At Western Michigan, 1-11, is that correct?
Tough year one, all perspective. I think that was the best first year for a first-year head coach and staff in 50 years. So it's all perspective. I mean, we won one game my first year as a head coach at Western Michigan, and I was the worst coach in America. We were the worst staff in America, and nobody wanted to believe us. And I understand those things are going to happen, but there's a lot of transition. This is not an extension off of what anybody else has ever done. We're here to build a championship culture, and sometimes that means, like I said before, last year was year zero. It was a digging year. We had to find out guys that fit, guys that did not, install new systems and everything that we did. That's a tough transition for young people. And now we're going to play an enormous amount of young players. So we're going to plug in the process and we're going to let it work.
What's something that you realize, being a coach in the Big Ten, what's the biggest difficulty about coaching in the Big Ten?
Well, I think coaching is coaching, right? I don't necessarily think one conference to the other. I mean, there's still calls you have to make. There's still third down. There's still fourth down. I love the relationships we have in the Big Ten. We just got back from Arizona with head coaches meetings, and I think our Big Ten head coaches work really well together in creating what's best for college football. And it's fun to have all those guys in the room and really make a difference as you continue to move forward, not only just in your conference, but with football in general.
You've had year twos before. How does this year two compare to past years two?
Well, I think one of the biggest differences, in the Mid-American Conference, my second year, we played a lot of freshmen. We probably played 17 to 18 freshmen that second year with our first big recruiting class coming in, very similar to what we have coming here in Minnesota in June. I think there in the Big Ten, there's a little bit difference of a strength component, where the Big Ten, I think you see a lot more juniors and seniors playing. We only have 9 seniors on our football team. So we are going to have our seniors lead a lot, but our young guys are going to have to step into a role that maybe they're not ready for or accustomed to just yet. But that's what the whole race to maturity kind of philosophy this whole year has been about. We have to become way more mature, way faster than maybe we should. And I think the biggest comparison might be a strength issue, but we are going to play a lot of freshmen. And again, we are going to be younger and more experienced than we've ever been. And this is what I mean in terms of year zero was last year. You're finding out everything. Everybody's just kind of running around. You're really digging to find out what type of team you really have. You're doing everything for the first time. This is really the year one when you start, your first big class is actually here, and then you can start growing it.
Jumping off that, what are you most excited about?
I'm excited for the development of our players. I think everybody's worked tremendously hard in the offseason. But to see our freshmen, we have 18 young people that are on scholarship joining us here in June. Really excited for a lot of those guys to be here. I don't know if you saw Rashad Bateman, but he's one of the wide receivers we're really excited about. Had a big tattoo on his arm, his forearm, put RTB, block him, and Sky Yuma on his forearm. And I told him, I said, you should have did that when you committed. It would have made the recruiting process way easier because I would have known you were truly in from the start. We wouldn't have had to worry about it all the way through signing day. But he's such a great kid, and I think the state of Minnesota is going to love him, as well as a lot of the freshmen. The Daniel Fott-Lele's, Curtis Dunlap Juniors, the guys who are already on campus. So it's really exciting to kind of get guys who have bought your culture for a whole year in. And sometimes it's difficult to convince people, hey, this is why you should like that. But again, that's kind of through year one, and those who stay will be champions. And I'm really proud of our team's progress that have been here through the entire offseason.
Talking about
I was going to say the QB situation. How comfortable do you feel about that right now?
Well, the spring game was one of the first opportunities we had to see what they could do in a game scenario. That's why it was not a choice or an option to cancel it. I know Saturday we got 26 inches of snow, so everybody's kind of glad I did that right. And then on Thursday it was a beautiful night. We got a chance to be able to simulate game day. The Big Ten Network was there, so we had a chance to really see what would these guys do when the lights go on, because we're in the second year in a row that we're going to have whoever starts is not going to throw or hasn't thrown a college pass. So we're in the very similar position we were last year, but now we have really young players that we can really build with into the future. So it's really exciting. Young people don't know how bad they are, they don't know how good they are. You kind of get them and you can do and mold them the way you want. But this is really fun for us because we get to take people from a very young age and get to mold them and build them and help them through their failings and their growing pains, because we're going to have some. But the one thing is to know that we can continue to row through it.
one
More
more.
guys.
Just talking about this event a little bit more. You're someone who's known for your energy for sure. Is this something that you like, interacting with all the fans and being able to kind of promote your program a little bit more?
Yeah, I don't even know if it's about promoting the program. It's just getting around to see our fans. You know, I'm a people person. I love to engage with people, hear people's stories. You know, I always stand right by the buffet line because, you know, there's a room of 400 people in there and they're all at a certain table. But if you just think you're going to go around to a table to table to table, I don't think that's realistic. So I stand in the buffet line, kind of like at Disney World. You know, they kind of put the characters in the long lines of the rides just to break up the time for you. That's kind of how I feel. But it's one of those things to be able to reach out to our fans, thank them, and see if I can do anything for them. And everybody has an opinion. Everybody's got a play they want to run. Everybody's got a person they want to recruit. So it's exciting when they walk through the line. You never hear the same thing twice.
Awesome.
Coach,
Yep.
thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. I appreciate your time.